Map pick. I wouldn't really call it an upset in the sense of Renegades are the favourites coming into this game, but in terms of map pick, Renegades have done a good job of taking away a map that Big have looked stellar on so far. We now move to the second of the series, Harry. That is going to be Train, somewhere where Renegades are going to be very, very comfortable. How do you see this one going?
Well, I think, you know, I said to you yesterday, I thought Renegades would fare pretty well in this series. My prediction hasn't really changed much since then. I feel like Big kind of maybe fell a little bit flat there. The key players that we needed to see step up didn't. Nex had an absolutely unbelievable game, but the rest of the guys kind of fell off. GodB, I think he's been at 110% this whole event, and maybe, you know, in that last map he kind of slowed down a little bit. You know, was only maybe at like 95, which yeah, I mean, you know, it's a small decrease, right, but it made things noticeable. And I think most importantly as well, Renegades having such a massive turnaround on behalf of Nifty really being one of the keys, in my opinion, there, along with JKS, both of them finishing top of the board for Renegades. And, you know, I mean, Nifty getting off to such a slow start, that's what makes it that much more impressive. I mean, you often say this, the kind of thing with Nifty is like, it feels like if he's having a good game, everything's better, right? Because he's the AWPer and the cooler. So you get a really great fragger, and then it's like, as he's fragging better, generally speaking, his cools feel that much better as well. Yeah. I think also he kind of takes himself out of being the guy having to make the plays when he gives the calls if he's feeling confident in you know, the rest of his team. You saw it as like he could trust JKS to hold somewhere down, or he could trust Azza to go and, you know, post up in like a key position. He wasn't putting himself in like all these star positions while trying to micromanage everyone else. And
a lot of that came down to the first half, that while Big ended it 9-6, it was actually Renegades who pulled it back from that scoreline. It was really the only two fraggers we were looking at were Azza and JKS. JKS had something like 15 kills in the first 5 or 6 rounds, and that really kind of carried on the entire game. That was one of the question marks, right? Because when you have a big fragger in the first half, it's like, do they carry it on? Can they convert it to the second CT, or the CT side? Sorry, or the T side. And yeah, he certainly was able to, and you know, that was just great to see from Renegades, the Australians stepping up, and now we're going to have them go to where they're most comfortable. Train. Big, one map away from being removed from ESL One Cologne pre-playoffs as well. They'd love to play in front of the home crowd, but Renegades want to steal that away from them. Azza down Ivy to start things off. He's spotted Smooya and trying to tap away with the USP, but the range is being closed, and the double peek from Renegades, that will drag them forward.
Well, tabseN charging in towards this B-bomb site, joined by Nex, 2-star performance in the previous map, but it's tabseN to open up. So they've managed the 4-on-4. The bomb going to go down here inside of this B-bomb site. How do Renegades want to conduct this one? As they start to head back in, it's going to be Nifty finding that first kill. Trade goes straight away by Nex. And okay, double down with the Glock. Wants to try and impress us here. Not content with being the star back on Dust 2. Now wants to try and relive the glory here on Train. And that will be the round going the way of Big. They managed to get the bomb down inside of B. They want to try and punch their ticket here to a third map.
And I can't recall seeing Big play this map yet, from at least what I've seen. So I'm very interested to see how they approach this, how GodB wants to structure this T side. And already off to a strong start. It's going to lead them at least in terms of getting those next couple of rounds, or you'd like to hope so. Renegades are going to be forcing up, so trying to bring back the pain here with pistols. We've got Nifty saving for that AWP, which is so important on the CT side of Train. Nice smoke.
We often praise GodB for his massive brain. Sadly, there it got in the way of the smoke. But Smooya and Tizian in with the trade straight away. Well, not Smooya, he died, but Tizian in with the trade for Smooya. Okay, this is worrying now. Jacob, pretty quiet performance from him over on Dust, and usually he's pretty reliable here inside of Renegades. You still out. Holding down the angle, it's a 3-on-3, and this was like a 3-on-3 that never should have been. There's weapons to be retrieved and armor across everyone on the side of Renegades. The scary thing is if Jacob can get off to a good start here, it did look a bit uncomfortable on Dust 2. Train, of course, a much more comfortable map for him. Renegades could look to try and steal this force buy back.
It's all down to this next shot. If Jacob can pull back the man advantage and fade away, maybe Renegades will be able to upset this one, but now Big are coming into the site. One angle for Jacob to hold, but he still can't follow up with his second dig of the round. Spots Tizian, maybe going for the pre-fire, but he can't connect the shots, and now they're going to get closer. Nex eventually drops him, but the trade is right back from Ustillo. Renegades are keeping themselves in this, and with 30 seconds left, Big are going to have to find some important kills here, but they don't know the positions of both these two CTs. The smoke down allows them to wrap back through the pop dog and head in towards that B site, but Renegades will certainly be one step ahead, and that rotation has come through for JKS.
Yeah, this is problematic. JKS is already here. He's tagging them down. Tizian going to find it, and there we go. This could be the defining moment. Ustilo, we often say he absolutely adores Train, sadly. Loving Train's not enough to deflect bullets. Tizian's able to find him. Big move into a second round, albeit by the skin of their teeth. Nifty, you can see, saving up, wants to go for that AWP into round number 4. AWP's crucial and can reign king here on Train. And then you look over at Big, and Smooya, I think he's been throwing an MP7 over, so he's going to be looking a little bit more well-endowed than I originally imagined.
Yeah,
in terms of his money, by the way.
I hope. We're going to have the AWP battle in next round for both players here. Regardless of the outcome of this round, both players will be able to afford it. So that's going to be fun. And Big maybe making some money here on the A-bomb site. Stack up for Renegades. They've got every single man here, and not for long because they are getting shredded. Jacob does find one off the back of the USP, but it's a small consolation when Big will pick up the round with only one casualty. Money being made, AWPs probably being bought, and there we go. Nifty and Smooya straight on the server in round number 4. We had Nifty winning the vast majority of those duels in the previous map versus the British player, but maybe this is where Big can turn things around, because if Smooya can start to find some shots to open up this game, we could see Big continue with this streak. They've already found the first 3. Renegade's going to call in a very early tactical pause. Try and make sure they know they want to make... Oh my god, that was awful. Try and make sure they know how to approach this first buy round, because it is going to be extremely important.
Plus, I mean, one man I think you want to be keeping an eye on is, you know, we spoke about Jacob, we spoke about JKS, we spoke about Nifty, we spoke about Azza. One man we haven't really addressed all that much is Ustilo.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this man on Train, he goes from being, you know, your kind of more like supporting style guy, you know, quite consistent but never putting up insane numbers. He just absolutely adores a game of Train. So be sure to keep an eye on that. He will be looking to try and load his teammates onto his back. There he is, wearing a hat. Still can't get used to it, but there it is.
Yeah, he plays typically close towards Pop Dog and E-Box as well, so let's see if Renegades, Big are going to be ready for that, because he's already found himself in position. He's already set up, although Big, they're doing the exact same with the Molotovs. That might be to catch out Ustilo in this spot. Not thrown by God B. Not yet.
He's teasing us with it. He lit it, put it away.
Ooh. I love how Nex is just baiting in Ustilo, and he's just caught here and Pop now. But the weird thing about that is they throw the outer Molotov, but they don't throw one inside to kill Ustilo. If they throw a second molly down the ladder, he's dead. There's no way he wins that. Or he has to run and leave Pop Dog. And even then, he loses half his health. So weird to see Big not capitalize on that. They clearly thought he was in Pop, but they didn't try and force the fight. So he's still in position behind them. And if we see this B play come through for Big, Ustilo's going to have a really quick flank into the back line. So let's see if that really comes back to haunt Big after not taking advantage of the aggressive positioning of Renegades.
As they head down here inside of B, you're going to have to try and get past JKS and Nifty as well. That certainly is not a duo I want to be running into any time soon. They throw in the smokes, the flashes, everything they need to try and facilitate this play. Nifty finds the first shot of Smooth. Yep, now it's JKS players coming his way. He emerges from the bomb site, does manage to drop Tabson. Ustilo's hot on their heels on this flank, and there's the timing on a Tizian. Godby going to try and get the bomb down. Next manages one and a second. How's he done that with just a Mac 10? Ustilo gets there in the nick of time to pull back the man advantage, and now it falls to Nex. More Mac 10 heroics going to be needed, but he's the Mac Daddy of Big right now. 1v1. Time working against Renegades here, and been bigging up Ustilo a lot. He's going to win it out in the 1 versus 1. Going to go to save the AWP as well. Wants to stick that defuse first. Can't say I blame him. Not having a kit always makes the timing of that a bit terrifying.
And there we go. There is the round won by Ustilo. Single-handedly, Big not capitalizing on their initial Molotov. You should always, like, I don't really see much benefit of throwing the outer Molotov unless you're trying to scare Ustilo into running away. But he's just going to hold his nerve, not move out of position, and there we go. 3 kills on the flank, and he wins the clutch. So, big round from Ustilo. We hyped him up. You already said he's great on Train, Harry, and he's proving that here and now. Renegades finding their first here on the CT side, and as a result, we now have heavy rifles coming through for the side of Big. A gun dropped over to Smooya to keep him with a couple of $1,000, or at least $8,000, so he can buy up the AWP in the future. So Big, not the worst of economies right now, but this may force them to eco if they do lose this round without any kills. Azza trying to flash his way down Ivy, but the Molotov's going to hold him back, and Big want nothing to do with it either. They just sit in the T spawn as Ustillo, once again, hungry as ever.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, before he went pro, he must have been like a conductor or like a ticket man or something, because he absolutely adores a bit of train. But Jacob and Ustillo have both gone very early on here. The pressure going to fall onto the rest of the Renegades, and Azza on the bomb train does manage the dispatch of tabseN. Delaying this push on in. The UMP surely can't find any more. It's going to be JKS's to do the damage, but now in a 1v3, trapped on the bomb train. Next finishes things off, and Big, they're going to be straight back with a round of their own.
That's a hard reset as well. Renegades only kept one player alive in the round that Ustillo picked up. So, as a result, look at the money. What money? No money. Renegades have $2,000 per player on average, and that is not enough for a full buy. It may convince them to go for somewhat of a force here, but Big are going to be so well equipped in comparison. That's an awkward round to lose for Renegades. And I think, in fact, that's exactly what happened in the first map as well, with Big starting things off. So, yeah, history repeating itself. But if history repeats itself again, Renegades are going to win this map. So I don't think they mind how they get there. It's more the getting there that matters. Close position from Ustillo once again, this time into main. tabseN going to be on the other side, and we've got an anti-flash player as well. That's next. So while Renegades are trying to hunt for these A main players, there's a couple on the T side ready and waiting. This Ivy push as well coming down is going to pincer Renegades in position, and Nex has his teammates back covered. Jacob landing the Deeg shots though like a king, and he is going to find one. Pistol suddenly finding so much damage as well, and now we only have 2 players per side, with a bomb under the control of Renegades and guns picked up.
It all falls on a JKS bomb at his feet, and a 1v2 to find versus the heavyweights of tabseN and Nex, but he's dropped Nex, and now it falls into a 1v1v tabseN. Doesn't have armor. JKS, aim punch going to play into this as he reroutes all the way back around a connector. He knows he can't take a head-on fight versus tabseN. tabseN retrieves the bomb, and he's going to go for the plant here on the A-bomb side, but surely there is no way he suspects this much of a wraparound from JKS. He's gone all the way around over here towards Pop Dog. Sneaking down the ladder he goes. tabseN, so many angles to keep an eye on, and JKS, timing's not there for him. He flicks back round, but tabseN's going to find it. Cements a 5th round on the board from Big, and tabseN digs deep, returning to old form when they needed him to the most. Smooya now with the money to bring the AWP out as well. And Big are hitting the ground running here on trade.
But again, Harry, let's look back to Dust 2, where it was a 7-1 lead, even a 9-3 at one point for Big, that they eventually lost on that second half. So, they've still got to be careful, still remain resilient, even with this lead. Renegades are certainly going to be able to pull this game back on this comfortable map for them. But for now, again, it is pistols, and even though it found success in the previous round, it's not quite enough to garner them a victory, and they are going to rush down Ivy. tabseN just taking the attention, but there's a second player there, Tizian. The double T strike back, and Big are going to completely cement Ivy in their favor. 2 men left up for Renegades, and this round looks to be finished nice and soon. So this eco is no problem for Big. Ooh, I say that. They do lose Nex, but should be okay.
I mean, this is terribly convincing right now from Big. We saw them go 7-0 up, 7-1 rather up on Dust 2. They might be about to repeat that here on Train.
As I just said.
Yeah. Really in sync, Hugo, aren't we?
Yeah.
JKS and Nifty both going to be bringing out those AWPs here over on the side of Renegades.
And if we look to the CT AWPing power for this Renegades roster, this is what pretty much brought them back, as well as, you know, JKS on that rifle in the second half. Nifty was finding so many shots with his AWP, so if he can continue that performance, maybe Renegades can find some form.
Most definitely. JKS actually going to go aggressive over here towards B. He's a big fan of this aggression into the halls, does it quite frequently in his B site hold, but he's going to get flashed off the angle. That's something you can bet that God B will have looked into. This aggression from Ustillo over into main. And a little bit more information. You can hear the rotations as well. Might even be able to hear a couple of footsteps from Tizian every now and again. Looks like they want to try and challenge for Pop Dog. Now, Ustilo quite known for playing this position for Renegades. I'm sure they're going to expect to see him over in main.
Just a very slow hold for Big. They wait for Renegades to re-aggress, but they're not biting. Ustilo found himself deep in A main, but Tizian's aware of the possibility here, so he does clear out his corners. However, with an AWP posted up, Nifty supporting here on the back of Ustilo, Tizian should not try and approach this alone, because not only do you have the chance for Nifty to hit a shot, but even if he misses in the unlikely event, oh, there's a second man here, but he moves off. Luckily enough, goes back in just the nick of time, and he does find the kill as these players filter out through Pop Dog. Azza on the site as well, putting up a frag, and now Renegades starting to cement themselves in this round. There's 15 seconds left, and there's not a hope in hell. Big are being crushed.
Jacob even here, Smooya running away. Ustilo's going to be there. Jacob in the back. Smooya does manage to find the first. Jacob just misses the timing for the trade, but there we go. He's quick to go ahead and pick that up. Renegades will be securing a second round. They keep 4 alive as well, Hugo. That's going to be crucial. Looking at this game now, looking at the big picture, that kind of denies the opportunity of an instant reset for Big. And that's where they found a lot of success here in this first half, if you recall. Renegades win that 1 round on the back of Ustilo clutching out in the 1v1, but their money's very, very low. The buy then comes in, and they get reset in the following round. And since then, Big have gone from strength to strength. It's just going to be rifles out now for the predominantly German side. Early on, Tabson heading back over here towards B. This looks like it might be a faster play though. You can see Godby just throwing in a smoke. That's going to go ahead and fall out towards the A-bomb site. They also go ahead and clear Pop Dog. It's Nex on the entry. Hasn't inflicted a decent bit of damage to Nifty, but you're still holding close. Ooh, Nex going to behead him. Keeps on heading forward. He knows he's found damage onto one man just to go ahead and tip things even further the way of Big, and Godby then combines along with Nex to find Nifty. So Jacob and Azza left in a 2 versus 5. Something's gone very, very wrong in this round for Renegades.
Yeah, just an extremely puggy fast push from Big, and all the shots are there. Everyone finding the kills, and even though Jacob lines up 2, it's not enough. Nex is going to finish him off after only a single frag, and Big, that's again another reset. This is exactly what we saw in the previous game. I think pretty much almost round for round again. Renegades put back down to pistols here, Harry. Right now having a bit of trouble on the CT side of this map, but let's see how far Big can run away with this first half. There's 7-2 right now. I think they would really, really like a couple more just to solidify themselves. Although a 7-round half, even if this was an 8-7, they'd be pretty confident. That's a good nade. With very limited weaponry in this round, plus only 1 armored player, Renegades can't be expected to really take this one away from Big. They've found a very close one off the back of pistols just a few rounds ago, but they were all armored, they all had CZs, and a lot more chance. Whereas I wouldn't say it's the same case here, especially not when Big are about to walk into an MTP bomb site.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help you out. Over on this side of Big. They want to try and take us through to a 3rd map. And I tell you what, Hugo, if this continues in this fashion, I think we're going to see it. Because Renegade's looking a little lost right now.
I've just got it in the back of my head that they've done this before and they've still won the game. So I'm really hesitant to believe that even a 7-2 lead is like a guarantee at this point.
The one thing I will say, as good as Nifty looked back on Dust too, I was just taking a little look a minute ago, seeing how Ustilo was how his stats stacked up on Train, and Nifty surprisingly has in comparison to usual a shockingly low rating on this map.
Really?
Yeah, I think resides down at like 0.91 or 0.89, something along those lines, which is pretty abysmal for him. You know, usually very, very talented, one of the guys with like a high rating in that regard. Not that rating means much in terms like as a number, but just as a trend, right, for us to look at. Yeah. And I think, you know, when you look at how much of an impact he had back on Dust 2, if kind of history repeats itself, if the stats don't lie, if the numbers are true, which they normally are, then they could struggle here, especially when you consider kind of the form that Tabson's in right now. He's been donning that AWP alongside Smooya, so the double AWP potential's definitely there. Nex as well is hitting all of his shots. Smooya's looking competent even with the AWP.
Yeah.
And then you kind of look over at Renegades, and I think, you know, on Train, a lot of the time, I prefer it when we see JKS on the AWP. He's been having a hard time over at that B bomb site right now as well, though, 4 and 9. But you feel like a lot of the time he's been in these kind of retake scenarios, having to head back towards the B bomb site, the A bomb site rather. B's normally been decent for them to hold. I mean, they only have 2 rounds, right? So it's hard to really extrapolate much from that. But Smooya, aggressive out in towards main. He's even caught a nade for his troubles. And okay, oh god, B, not usually an AWPer, but there he is picking up the frag on a Jacob.
And Jacob top of the board here for Renegades. So that's another important kill coming through for Big. Nifty can't even find the trade because Big have just given up with that part of the map, and safely so because they have Box Hall's control, and JKS is the only man on B right now. Currently sitting with 4 kills. He's going to need a whole lot more because the Molotovs are raining in. He fires back with an incendiary, and that will stop the push in their tracks on Train. Even though he's tagged down to 50, it's again this hunt from Ustillo, Harry, and this may change the game.
Yeah, he's in the back line, flanking around. Next going to pick him up. Now it falls to JKS, a man that we've spoken about so much in such high regard for Renegades. He lets the first couple of guys cross, but now Tabson spots him, and he doesn't manage to find the kill, and that leads to Nifty's death at the hands of Tizian. Azza left high and dry over an A in a 1v5. This is just not happening.
Yeah, and it's not even like one player going crazy for Big. 4 players putting up a kill each in this round. That's just the consistency here showing up for this T side right now. A 9th round taken on the T side. And from what looked like a maybe similar story to Dust 2, in the sense that Big had a big lead to start things off and things were drawn back to a 9-6, I feel like that looks more and more unlikely by the second. Renegades need anything right now. It's, you know, no money next round again. 2 on the CT side of Train, not only a strong CT map, but also their pick here in this best-of-3 series. Looking a little bit worrying right now.
Yeah, looking like they might trade pick for pick with Big. Renegades going to be taking a much-needed tactical pause. I do think Renegades are a team that on the back of a tactical pause, you can always notice a distinct change at least. Yeah, going to have some time to communicate with their new trial coach, right? Yeah,
like it's hard to tell at the moment because, right, when we had Kassad, I definitely agree with that. And then when Kassad left, the next couple of events, I think Star Series and DreamHack Summer, they looked so lost, so lost during these tactical pauses, and they didn't really take that many either. Now, obviously, we haven't got enough data to work with, but now that Ryu's in the team, maybe these tactical pauses are going to have a whole lot more effect.
Yeah, that's one thing. So before, you always saw during the tactical pause, especially at Star Series, right? Because I got to cast a lot of Renegades.
Yeah, you did almost every game.
Yeah, I just love a Renegades game. What can I say?
Yeah.
Whenever they would take the tactical pause, you know, Nifty always, you know, because there was no coach, there was no 6th man to kind of help out, chip in with his advice. He'd just be sitting there talking. He looked quite frustrated. He never had anyone to kind of, you know, calm him down or tell him what's going wrong or, you know, make him realize a few. But, you know, since Ryu's been brought in, these tactical pauses are going back to being more successful, I would say. A well-timed one called in. I think very justifiably so as well when you're 9-2 down on your map pick on the more favored side.
Ooh.
I really hate to see that. Oh, second time around. Maybe third. Third time lucky. That's what they say. Third time lucky.
Oof.
No.
Give up.
Very unlucky, in fact. I guess lucky if you're a Renegades fan, which a lot of people are, including myself.
Biased.
Well, you know. What can I say? Smooya. Land the wall bang. Do something cool. Not meant to be. What was that? We were like 10-time lucky? I just started to think maybe...
He kept shooting the same spot as well, but like after you spam it 3 or 4 times, I don't think Renegade's going to go, oh, that seems like a good position to walk into right now. Like he's hitting the wallbang right. That's a corner where someone usually sits, but they are not in the default angles. Doesn't seem to matter. Nex can still open it up. There's another man. He sees the corner of his shoulder, and there it is. Second kill for Nex, clears out main, allows for Big to relieve some pressure on this A site and still continue the push. But there are 3 players left up here for Renegades, and make that now 2.
Azza trying to hold down the fort. Has players all around, and Nex makes that look easy. Nifty's going to manage one in return. That's an AK that can be retrieved. Tabson's going to go hunting, but I don't want to see Tabson get too big for his boots here. Looking at Smooya and Godby, they're both tagged down very, very low. And Nifty's looking like he wants to try and go for this.
Oh, God.
He has stopped just short, so now he's going to start to back away. And I think, you know, Big, quite fortunately so. Tabson on that flank probably could have mopped things up, but, you know, things can get out of hand very, very quickly when it's Nifty you're dealing with. We do remember the iconic 50 for Nifty. Back at IEM Sydney. That was a spectacle. Did you manage to catch that game, Hugo? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't see that many Sydney games because of the time zone.
That's understandable, yeah. I feel like.
I don't know what I was doing at the time. Maybe I was doing something
Probably
else.
Sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That would also be a problem. I caught a couple here and there. But Big... Well, they've caught more than a couple. Renegades are the ones with 2 right now. It's 10 rounds up for this T side. Another eco the way of Renegades has now gone into a bye with that saved AWP, relieving some of the tension. A bit more to play with here for Nifty. But no one really stepping up in a phenomenal way for Renegades. That is one of the notable factors. Nifty's at the top with 8, but it's not far away from any of his team. They're all kind of sitting around a similar mark. So we need a big individual play. We need a hero here for Renegades. And Smooya, again, looking to open this up. Stands in the Molotov, and that is not going to work out. Jacob has kicked things off, and the trade up from Godby, again donning this AWP over Tabson, seeming to work out.
Yeah, somehow we're back into a 4-on-4. If I'm Smooya there, I'm so triggered as well that Molotov hit me and slowed me on the peak. Because you imagine how different it would have been if he gets there before they get past the E-box. But JKS does manage to retake the man advantage for Renegades. At this point, though, Big are so you know, this is already such a dominant half from them. Renegades really need to keep things flawless now if they want to stand any chance of coming back in the second. They have been very, very good, though, at the old comeback versus Big thus far. With that said, I'm not disappointed if we see Inferno. Inferno always makes for a great third map. Both these teams very proficient on it. I think that'd be a great game. Yeah. So it's not the end of the world.
I just hope Renegades start to find a bit more form and we can actually have a closer match. I don't want Big to just stomp this. As fun as, you know, seeing one team go crazy is, I do like close games. And this is not a close game, Harry.
Well, not close yet, but there's still a few more rounds left in it for Renegades to try and hold this back. Ustillo gets tested by Tabson, and he hasn't done his homework, so he will be failing that. Tabson, oh. Nifty now knows he's got an AWP. That's scary. Tabson with the big green gun. Looking to try and spot him, and Nifty falls. JKS does manage to frag on the next. Tabson, 2 HP. Gravity could have been enough to finish him off there, but instead it is a JKS. And that's going to be a third round on the board for Renegades. As I said, though, Hugo, it really feels like they need to go flawless at this point in time to even salvage this game.
Yeah, I think that's...
even then, it doesn't feel good enough, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we know they can pull this game back. We've already seen them do it on Dust 2. It's just kind of... It's when you have a game this dominant, whether this ends 10-5 or 12-3 is kind of irrelevant in the sense of, like, if Big win Pistol at 10-5 or 12-3, they probably win the game. It's so dependent on that Pistol round. So Renegades, they need, well, these two, of course, and then the Pistol as well to make things a little bit easier. But right now, Big, they've still got the money in their pockets, the guns in their hands, and the rounds on the board, 10-3. JKS getting 3 kills in that previous round, definitely starting to find his footing potentially. Could be what Renegades need here. Delayed by for Tizian, he here? Yeah, there we go, he's not AFK, that's nice. Okay, everyone's back in. We've got the AWP up, 1 per team now. Godby not going to be donning that anymore here for Big. And where is the setup? Smooth's given up with A main, thank God. He has just not had his luck there. Every time been getting killed or tagged down early on. So instead he posts up on B waiting for an aggressive peek. But oh, the timing, JKS climbs and Smooya runs because now he's 50 HP. He was having a great start to this map, but it's certainly slowed down for the British AWPer. Next instead is going to relieve the pressure by finding a kill up on that A-bomb site. Although he does get tagged down in the process.
If Big go into B right now, it is completely empty. This wall of smokes down on A has really done a great job of selling it to Renegades that it's going to be the A play. JKS realizes, and I think this might just be a save. Especially now that you've lost Jacob. He was the only man who maybe could have done something. So yeah, they're going to back away, look to try and hold on to what they've got, take that with them into the next round. That's the reset as well. You can bet that Big are going to go hunting here. God be someone who has such a good understanding of what to do in these situations, you know, where the opposition's money is going to be at, how to play these sort of rounds out. And we can already see players looking to go hunting. They know that any gun they take away is massive. An 11th round going to be on the board for Big. Renegades, even with saving these 3 weapons, Jacob and Ustillo are both just going to be on pistols. That is really the best that they could muster. Maybe a scout, something along those lines, but it won't be pretty. You could have Nifty throw over what? Don't know enough for a FAMAS. You could throw a UMP over. So if they save 3, they can muster something at least, but they mustn't lose anything here if they want any chance into the next round. Nifty's going to pick up 2. So they've shut down everyone. That's all they needed. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it doesn't matter for Big because it's last round and they have unlimited money, and Renegades actually didn't pick up any of those AKs because they were too far away. But that's, yeah, nice bit of confidence building, some stat padding, a couple $100 more per player to buy up utility or kits into this round. That's the best case scenario there for Renegades, given the situation that Big pretty much made themselves with 2 picks and a bomb down on that B site. I'm surprised Renegades actually keep so many guns alive, and they're going to be happy with that one. But Big, second tactical timeout coming through, making sure that they close out this half in style. And that's important. You don't want to let go right as you reach the final point. You don't want to slip away when you have an 11-3 lead. Just guarantee that 12th. Make sure you have it. And then you can go into that second half feeling as confident as ever.
I tell you what is mental though, Nifty was $200 short of dropping a FAMAS, which is, I would say, substantially better on train than a UMP. And he finds 3 kills at the end, so now he had enough money to drop the FAMAS. So in a way, like, the hunt gave them that much more cash to work with.
Every little helps, Harry. We know that. We
do. Being British, we know that. Big. They still have a monstrous 8-round lead over Renegades. Let's not forget, this is still very much a big game thus far. JKS trying to have a big moment, backed up by Nifty. Tizian's in with the trade. Man advantage gained for Renegades, though. The thing is, Big have been so good at recovering from these situations. Being a man down, it feels like they've still been able to get back into this game in these sort of scenarios. And God B suspects that someone might be going aggressive. Indeed, he would be right in his suspicions. He finds Ustillo deep behind enemy lines, and now we're all back to square one. 3-on-3. This is going to benefit Big massively.
But only one man on this A site. Big yet to commit, so we don't fully know where they're going to be pushing through. But if it is down through Pop Dog with this Ivy split, Jacob's going to be under a lot of pressure. Alternatively, we could see a B play with a late lurk from God B down Ivy, and that could also be a very viable option right now, especially considering Renegades have now rotated a second player to this A bomb site. God B just holding passive, and yeah, it will be the latter, so Big are going to walk into B. This is actually the best thing Big can do in this situation, given the setup. There is Nifty down on that B site, but AWP v AWP, and they do have the utility. Look at the nades on Smooya and Tizian. They can certainly get this plant in without even committing to a gunfight right now if they play their cards right. But Smooya wants to hunt. He wants to take a kill away. And he may just get the opportunity with Nifty sitting very, very open. He's just got to walk a little bit more forward, but Nifty going to turn around. Smooya won't see it. The tag is not enough. 15 seconds left up, and Smooya just gets to the bomb site with the plant. Smoke's now coming in to try and cut off Nifty's line of sight, but that nade may seal the deal for the British player. He is gone, and the retake is on.
Tizian and God B left to try and secure a 12th round for Big. 3 players up for Renegades pushing on in. They don't have any smokes for the bomb, and there is still a Molotov up on Tizian. So if they let that timer tick down too low, this could all come crumbling down around them. Tizian just has to sit pretty and not go down, and goes the molly, but they're already on the bomb. They've got this. Az is going to defuse it unless he goes peeking into it, and there we go. Renegades find a 4th round. Even if you're at 100 HP, I believe you can actually just stick the defuse in its entirety if the Molotov goes off the second on it with a kit.
No, in 5 seconds the molly will kill you. Yeah, you have to stick it like a couple of seconds.
I'm fairly certain. I thought it took like 5.5 seconds.
Oh, okay, maybe you're right then.
To kill it. But I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't matter.
It's very hard because we don't have like a physical timer, right? We just see like a bar, so it's hard to, know. But yeah, either way, that's a nice round from Renegades. They managed to pull it back from a bit of a shaky half. However, it's still a shaky half, Harry. 11-4. 4 rounds on the CT side of Train on their map pick. And still favoured with the Betway odds. Obviously, this is for the best of 3 series, if I'm correct. So, yeah. It's not over for Renegades, and they've already pulled back a comeback before, although not this at least favourable for Big in the previous. It was a 9-6, now a little bit further, a little bit more out of control, and this pistol round is going to be really all that matters right now in the minds of Renegades. If they can't win this pistol, it may all be over here for Train, but let's see what they've got up their sleeves. Utility going over that A-bomb site. Big with a heavy setup with 3 players here. Smooya on top of the Train, and he's not going to be able to fire off because JKS has already dropped him with a pistol. Nex has got to trade things back. And while Tabson has already opened up for the CT side, Nex is not having the same effect. He's getting at least overwhelmed because Az has pushed up close. There's Nex finally striking, maybe a little bit more as Godby's dropped as well. And Nex just needs to buy time, allow for that rotate to come through the pop dog, and it certainly has now.
Tizian 1v2, the bomb still yet to go down. JKS with that PT50, that's something that's definitely going to help them out. Jacob as well, scavenging himself a USP. They're going to be able to take these longer range engagements, but Tizian's looked very good thus far for Big. Pushing on in, Tizian spots out JKS, but the PT50 gets the job done. Renegades going to find themselves a 5th round here. And managed to secure the pistol to kickstart their second half. Also, Hugo just did the research. If you have full HP and an armor, you can full stick a defuse and a Molotov.
Thank you for that.
There you go.
Thank you for that.
So you can use that in MM. You have to start defusing as the Molotov goes off. That's the key.
With the same second.
Yeah, I don't think you can run through a Molotov to stick a defuse.
That will be why I was thinking that. Okay.
But there we go.
It's just very rare that someone sticks the bomb the second the Molotov hits them. Like, what? Yeah. How often does that happen? And again, Big. They are going to be going for the pretty hard eco here. They've got Deagles on 3 of the players, but while you expect a Smooya saving for the AWP, I think Godby might even be doing the same thing because he's been AWPing a lot on Train. It's typically Tabson being that second AWP for Big, but Godby's taking it the vast majority of the time over him. So maybe that is a game plan, or maybe just Godby wants more utility. Either one's a viable option, and they have opened up with a kill, so Tizian dropping the first man in, but Renegades have still got a couple of rifles left up. Tizian, second kill, but this should start to be taken control back by Renegades, and they put it back into a 3-on-3 to start things off.
Ooh, Jacob.
Hello.
That's a little bit of spice for you. Just Smooya left in a 1v3. And if it's spice you're looking for, you will struggle to find food that is more bland than British food. Jacob just going to finish things off at the end. Then again, is Norway that known for its cuisine? I wouldn't know.
I'm not sure.
Any Norwegians out there, let us know. What's the staple food in your country?
Yeah, what is the home remedy in Norway food-wise? I actually don't know. I guess, yeah, not sure.
Here's a fun stat for you.
Yeah.
Next, over on the side of Big, in every opening duel in these rounds, he's 5-0, currently undefeated at taking the opening fights.
I believe that.
For Big. He's been so good at opening up these rounds. So if he can continue in that fashion, then yeah, Big will be finding that much more success in this map. But this round is going to be one that we can afford to write off. There we go, nice and easy.
Even getting glocked.
Yeah, won't be able to do much. Or anything. I have no faith. Although he does have a deagle, so maybe.
2 kills in the previous round with this gun. He's a good deagler. He is German. He did play for Alternate Attacks. They loved a deagle round, Harry.
That is true.
I've always got faith in a German with a deagle.
Try his luck, but no.
Little mainstream update for you guys as well at home, with North winning 16-14 on their map pick. Right now, overpass the pick of MIBR, 14-4 up for the Brazilians and the one American. So definitely a third map coming in there, it looks like. But will there be a third map here, Harry? That's the question, because Renegades have kicked off this second half. They've begun to pull back the battle, but they are so far away from even taking this victory. Round by round for Renegades. AWP up on either side. Godby. He's not got that second AWP here for Big in this CT side, nor has Tabson. Smooya again getting burnt out with the molly. His worst enemy so far this game. That and Nifty. And Tabson, he's going to be pressured down Ivy. He hears the footsteps, but he can only get one. The Mach 10 speed approaches, and it does take him down, leaving Nex on the train to try and do some work. But he's got players coming in from all angles. Similar story for Godby, but he does win his duel.
Yeah, he's the man who's just turned this back around for Big. Smooya there, going to go to drop Nifty from the server. Jacob and JKS. Oh, just JKS now. He has been able to sneak on by, but Heading back towards main, that bomb down over an Ivy, that's going to cause them all sorts of problems. And Smooya's there to go and punch the ticket for Big to a 12th round, 12-7. Still only 5 rounds between these two teams, so Big do still have to be cautious. And losing a few players in that previous round, their economy still not right where they want it to be, but it is starting to build up on the CT side. Over on Renegades, they have money to buy into this one. Nifty with the AWP out, full utility for the rest of the gang. Everything they could possibly need in this round at least. A loss here though, and they will be struggling into the next. And if they get tempted to go for the force buy, because you'll have Ustillo and Jacob with enough money to invest, then things could get that much worse for them in the coming rounds, but we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Not sure if this round is live because I'm hearing typing in the chat. Although the problem is Nifty's already taken damage, so we may not be able to cancel it. Everyone is chilling right now. So let's wait for confirmation on that one. This round may not be going on, and yep, they're going to accept it. Restart it, no problem there. Nifty was only 91 points of health, and I'm sure Big don't have a problem with resetting that round. Maybe a PC crash or something. Or a bug. So, rebuy is coming back through. 12-7 here for Big. This game is still close, though. It's all really coming down to this round, Harry, because if Big can win this, not only will they maintain a strong CT economy, but they'll push Renegades down to eco, gaining themselves 13 rounds. So very, very close to that finish line that they are looking to cross here on Renegades map pick. And on the flip side, if the Aussies do find success here in this buy round, then this game is still going to be onwards, and maybe, just maybe, they can pull another comeback.
Well, that's the issue, right? It wouldn't be the first time we saw 7-1 lead for Big over on Dust. Even then, they finish... no, sorry, I mean, I think then they actually were able to go up to like a 9-3 score line or something along those lines, and then Renegades start to pull it back. So, you know, you start to get a little bit worried. 12-7. It was an 11-4 half in favor of Big.
And the same kind of thing happened in this second map as it did in the first, right? We had that 9-3 lead, and all 3 of those rounds for Renegades were reset. Every single time, Big reset them on Dust 2. And then the same thing happened here. If we look at the scoreboard, if we can, the first few rounds, if you look at that, again, more resets for Big, and they were just completely piling onto Renegades in that first half. And while there were 4 rounds overall, they were all separate. So Big are doing a very good job at really wrecking the economy of Renegades. But luckily they start this half off with a pistol round, which has put them in a position to buy up even after losing that previous rifle round. If they can reset Big here, this game is on. This game is totally doable, but there's so much pressure on this one single round for them, at least. Because, yeah, okay, Big won't win the game off the back of this one round, but it will put them in a position where it's very hard to lose.
I mean, we talk about stars. Right now, it's Nex showing up once again. This time he does have Tabson with him, so that's some relief. And then on the side of Renegades, it's Jacob and Nifty leading the charge with JKS just behind. Azra, you're still having a bit of a quiet game, so you're still not living up to the hype I tried to build around him at the start of this one.
He was playing well at the start of the match, yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, you know...
Got a clutch on, like, the 4th round.
He's a pretty keen T-side player. We'll see what goes on. But, yeah, I mean, even when I looked into the stats, maybe I overhyped it a little bit, but I still think he's a very proficient over here on Train. Another star I think we should give some attention to, at Rushley 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Fantastic observer, catching all the kills. So, you know, everyone be sure to thank him. He's the real MVP of this matchup. There we go. Really makes you think.
That's him.
Yeah, that's
the man himself.
Yeah, we put that in the game for him. The AR stuff that we can do is just impressive as ever.
Look at the future.
We can go on a little tour, actually. Do you remember when there were those birds down here at the end? Rushy, do you remember them?
They still have the birds,
could get on. Yeah, but you used to be able to get on them and fly out the map. It was unreal.
So a little matchmaking tip for you guys at home. There are birds right now, not here because we're in freeze time, but right below where the camera is. And if you see those birds fly off, it means there is a player that has gone near them. So if you're a T-side player and you're holding T-spawn and then you see those birds fly off but none of your teammates are there, it means the CTs are pushing Ivy. Little fun fact for you guys there. So you can use that on both CT and T-side, but I think a little more useful for like a T-side holding with an AWP from this position here. What does that say, Harry?
I don't know what it says, but I can tell you what it's showing.
Don't stand on the birds.
No, it's because, yeah, but they put that in because you used to be able to fly away on the birds. So then they added this. Which, you know, could mean don't step on the birds, but it actually means don't use them as a vehicle. I didn't even know this room was here, I'll be honest with you.
It's pretty...
It's a nice little office. Reminds me of my office back home.
I think on a lot of the maps we have these cool little rooms and stuff. So, there's one over here, isn't there? This is nice. Yeah, a little office. This is actually where we're casting from right now.
I do actually go through more water than that, probably. But what's actually going on in this? What are they?
I don't know.
Look like guns, but I don't know if it is. Oh, that's like a tank.
Might be trains.
No, dude, they're definitely weapons, but
server room?
I tell you what.
Can we go in here? Ooh.
We can go wherever we want. With Rush at the steering wheel. He's edging around the corner so we don't go outside the map. Oh, there's nothing.
Whoa.
Jump scare.
You didn't see a thing.
But 5 rounds of these two teams. Rush is just going to keep taking us on a scenic tour. If we see something that's interesting, then we'll be sure to point it out. Oh, I remember when they reworked trade and they added all this, like the way this room looked in. I think it looks so nice.
Harry's a big fan of the communism. Loves it.
Oh, we've just received word that there's a tech issue on the server. We're working hard to get that fixed. Hugo's under the desk right now, fiddling around with all the wiring, all the computers. He's working as hard as he can.
I know a really cool wallbang on this map that I saw recently.
Okay, describe it to Rush. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
you'll be super impressed.
No, not this one, Rush. I know what you're going to think. Yeah. So there's 2 into Pop Dog. There's one you can get from Connector through that wall, I think. Or I think you have to go through the metal bit. Yeah, there it is. So you can shoot through that into Pop Dog. You can also shoot from the B site into Pop Dog. If you go down the bottom of ramp, there we go. You can shoot through that with an AWP only. Or I imagine maybe like an auto, but I'm pretty sure only the AWP has the penetration to do it. And you can like kill someone through there. I've seen that in a game. So there's a nice little wallbang for you guys. I don't think anyone's ever going to be using that. But
how much damage does it do you know?
To a headshot, I'd imagine quite a lot. Like, it won't be a one-shot kill, but if someone's been hit by a nade, maybe you could headshot them and kill them. I actually don't know on that one. It's pretty rare. But the one through Connector, surprisingly, is a one-shot headshot with an AWP, like, regardless of how much health they're on. So, yeah, there's some cool wallbangs in this game that people don't really use, for good reason, of course. Just because it's a wallbang doesn't mean it's a good wallbang. But, yeah, we're all about that... that theory crafting here.
Yep.
Stop.
What does this mean? What's the dude's face doing? I don't know. What creature is that?
He's got some real gloves on, Harry.
It's Slender Man. Jump scare alert, guys. Oh. Is it not?
That's why Rush didn't want to take us into that dark corner.
Yeah.
Because
it's
you never know what lurks in the dark.
Yeah, well, no, also that's that's where our server room is right there. This is what's wrong with the game right now.
It's been deleted.
Rush is working overtime, and he's trying his hardest. I can't remember if Rush is either very knowledgeable with computers or just not knowledgeable at all. It's one or the other.
Rush, are you knowledgeable?
No. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. He likes a mouse. He can do some clicking. Yeah.
Big fan of the keyboard.
But the musical instrument, of course.
Do go follow Rushley on Twitter. I think it's Rushley123456.
Yeah, that's the one. Bottom left. You can see it right there.
There you go.
He's made it nice and easy for us.
See, why don't we get that?
I don't know. To be fair, Rush deserves it. That's the difference.
He is the cameraman. So many cameras, you'd think this was England.
Ooh. Yeah, British people do love a bit of Big Brother.
I was thinking more of the fact that we are the most CCTV covered.
Yeah, I know. I was making the joke in the sense that we have a show called Big Brother, but then also the Orwellian dystopia fantasy. What is it, 1964 or whatever it's called? I forget the name of the book, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Black Mirror stuff right there.
There's some typing in chat, which is either a really good sign or a really bad sign.
But we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. We've just received word.
Yes.
According to the admins, the issue is solved. We're just waiting for the restart to come on in. So, Hugo, to get us up to speed, why don't you break us down what we've seen so far, what we're gonna see what we might see in this round, and what we see on our screens right now.
It's 12-7 to Big. So far, an 11-4 half that went very favourably for them, but it was a pretty similar story on Dust 2. They had a 9-6 lead that they eventually lost with a ridiculous comeback on the CT side for Renegade. So that's, again, another problem here, because now they've switched over to the T side, the harder side of 2 on this map. So a comeback is going to be far more difficult for the Australian, Norwegian, American team. But anything's possible. This is their map pick. They are going to be very prepared. They're going to know how to approach this T side. And as seen by what we've already seen in the last 4 rounds, they've taken the pistol with the 2 conversions, and then Big fired back with a rifle round of their own. And now that's what we're waiting for, the follow-up. Because Renegades got the opening 3, they still have money. They can buy up. They've got that AWP on Nifty that is so important on this map. And if they can win this round, they can get back in the game. But if Big take it, then I think we could see Renegades in a spot of trouble. Live in 30 seconds, we have been told. So that is great news.
That is the greatest news I've heard all day. Also, you know, I've been thinking, Hugo,
yeah,
you and I should order some food after this. How does that sound, my friend?
That sounds great.
Yeah, you know, we've been treating ourselves every day. The burger diet, we've tried that. How are you finding that, Hugo?
Where are you going with this?
I don't know, mate.
It's been great.
A nice discussion, isn't it?
It's been great. It's been great. Well,
I just wanted to know how you've been finding, you know, your last few days in Krefeld.
It's been lovely.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed my time.
You don't have to just wreck me and take me down a peg. That's fine.
We're back in, Harry.
Yeah,
we can stop filling. This is fine. Here we go. 15 seconds till we go live. Round number 20. And the buys are in.
The reason why I brought up ordering food, by the way, is because now we get to see, do Renegades make a meal of this round, or will it be a happy meal for Big? Now, let me tell you, using the word meal twice really got to me there, so just going to move swiftly on from that. AWP out for Smooya, AWP for Nifty. Who will prevail here? Renegades, they want to try and claw their way back into this game. They did it over on Dust. They have to do it once again here on Trade. They want to try and punch their ticket to a game versus the winner of North versus MIBR. But it's Desperation Station here on Trade. Down towards Ivy. They damage early on, and he still OCs Big. Take a bit of an advantage early on.
I haven't seen much fighting in the Pop Dog so far this game, so maybe now with a switch of sides, a different approach here for Renegades. Maybe they'll want to start putting the pieces down there. But Nex is on the other side, and he's been the top performer of this entire team for both maps so far. 20 kills right now. Keeping Big in this game. Very slow round. Renegade showing early presence down Ivy. Only to back off towards the spawn as JKS still keeps Big honest around B. You don't want to have no one outside of B because it's so easy to push up through that ramp or do what Tizian's doing right now and take control towards upper. He spots no one and that forces a rotation. So GodB moves back into the A site. We have a 4-man setup here for Big and 30 seconds left means Renegades are executing into somewhat of a stack.
Yeah, you're going to go walking in to the wall. Jacob going to go ahead and eat that nade as he sits on it. Now they go pushing on in. You have to try and get that bomb now. There's 15 seconds, and they first have to get past Tabson. He's been so good. But Smooya, now the last line of defense along with Nex out here on A. Smooya's dropped the bomb. Only 8 seconds left. Smooya, guy behind E-Box, does manage to elude him, but the bomb doesn't go down in time. The round goes the way of Big. Try as they might, Renegades can't win it out in the fight. And Smooya manages to keep dreams big for Big.
And 2 players going down after time as well. That is insult to injury for Renegades. Money gone. We knew that anyway, though. They weren't going to have any cash in this round if Big won it, even with players surviving. So this is a really awkward spot because now, with no loss bonus for JKS, it's like they could even justify a force here. But the problem is Big would then be gifted 14 rounds and Renegades would have no money, so they have to eco this round. No investment and no cash spare. Big are so ready to take this map away from Renegades and bring us to a third, that being Inferno. And with fire down towards Ivy, Tabson looks to push into it. You still owe dead to a nade. And with that, Big already taking the man advantage, starting to dispatch of these pistol players. That really shouldn't be too much of a task. We have 1 P250 across the entire T side. Everyone else glocked up.
Yeah, I think you could pretty much write this round off here and now. You're not expecting to get anything done, really, if you're Renegades. There's 3 players are Big inside of the B-bomb site, but a lot of that comes from Tabson being all the way down Ivy. And this just means when Renegades go walking on in, they're going to get completely mushed. Don't know if that's a saying, but it should be, because that's what they're resorted to inside of this big bomb. It's just a big old pile of mush, body parts everywhere. Big find themselves a 14th round. And now for Renegades, they need 7 in a row to tie this up. And when you look over at the big economy, they've been winning these rounds pretty cleanly, all things considered. They don't have that much money, but they can dodge a reset once, which is pretty good.
I think maybe twice as well, because if they lose 2 rounds, they're going to start to kick up into a loss bonus. So it all depends on how many players like Big keep alive. If they save any guns, that's certainly going to help them. So Renegades, yeah, this is a pretty hefty comeback needed here for the T's. I've been believing all game just because they've done it before, but it's all down to this single round, Harry. The make or break, 22. I don't know about you, but I am feeling thank you. Big. They do have everything to work with. This utility has been pretty fantastic again for this CT side. They've, in the previous round, tagged down, 2 rounds ago, tagged down 2 players to 50 HP before that push went in. And now they've already done that again to Nifty and Azza.
Well, he might have just quoted Taylor, but right now it's Renegades who have to be swift. Azza. Over a minute and 5 seconds. I have plenty of time, actually, for them to apply the brakes a little bit here.
Oh, another nade.
JKS isn't going to be too happy with that. The utility damage is that much more important over on this CT side. M4's you know, a headshot and then a body shot, but if you tag them for a little bit with the nade, suddenly it becomes just as effective as ye olde AK-47. Despite firing a smaller round. Nifty. Going to head down towards Ivy with you still. They're going to leave this push late once again. This hasn't been working brilliantly for Renegades, but they're hoping they can make it work now. Smooya holding close to main. It does go down at the hands of Azza. The rest of the guys put barreling on in now out from Ivy, and they're going to drop taps. And they've secured control of CT, but once again, 15 seconds, time ticking down. Godby tries to deny the bomb plot. Nifty going to find him, and now Nex and Tizian clawing their way back in, or at least that's what they'd like to do, as Nex is left in a 1v4. He'll get finished off courtesy of Ustillo, and Renegades keeping 4 players alive, keeping things clean. They're going to live to fight another day.
And that's the most important factor as well, keeping 4 alive, because if they win a round but they only have 1 player surviving, they're not going to be able to have a great buy, and it's easy for Big to exploit that. But Harry, you already mentioned that Big have a bit of money left up, so another buy can come through here for the CT side. But again, they lose this round with no saves. They're on eco, and that's when the comeback really starts. That's when this game starts to look like a reality for Renegades, at least for a bit of time. Orb up for Smooya, Orb gone for Smooya. Again, Nifty has been so good at winning this 1v1 versus Smooya almost every single time on both maps. We've had a couple of instances where Smooya has taken the advantage, but Nifty is right now just hitting his shots. And that's what Renegades are going to need. They're going to need individual performance to shine through over everything else. Tabsum hopping his way down Ivy. He may be given the opportunity at a 1v1 because there's only Ustillo here, but he's playing a very late lurk. You'll see this a lot with Renegades. They'll go for B splits and Ustillo will sneak in from behind, but I think Tabsum's aware.
Yeah, about to go walking into the claws of Ustillo. Tabsum mollies him out of position, and that's going to force him into the waiting arms of Tabsum. Nifty wins the fight. So great team play there to bail Ustillo out of such a compromising situation. Nex is now left alone out inside of the A bomb site. Godby comes rotating in, but really, can he do anything? No, he's going to have to save. Hide away, take the M4 in the next round, gives them at least one thing to try and fight with. So their second round, they're going to have second round loss bonus. They're going to get $1,800 at the end of this. So maybe you're even going to be tempted to go for another force, in all honesty. You know, with Godby saving, you can get some stuff around it. Renegades will be on a 9th round, you force buy. Say you lose that, it goes 10 to 14, and you've got one more eco, 11 to 14. You've given them back quite a few rounds, but you can look to do damage at least.
Yeah, and Big just don't want this game to get close, because that's when it just gets scary, right? If they can win this game, or if they're going to win this game, it'd be nice to just see a confident win for Big. Give them something into that 3rd map so they're feeling a little bit better, because if they only just take a 16-14 victory here, I don't think they're going to be feeling too well about that 3rd and final map. But Renegades slowly but surely drawing back the rounds. 2 in a row here. Big on pistols with a saved gun on Godby. Very, very minimal weaponry here for the CT side.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit worrying, right? I mean, originally they were looking like the notorious BIG that we often see on this map. They were starting to hypnotize me, only now I'm kind of coming out of that trance a bit. Godby has that one scavenged M4. Nifty. Gonna get pressured by Smooya, and they didn't elect to force buy up in this round, as is able to trade, but Godby's straight there. Back at it again.
Look at the retrieval of weaponry for Big. tabseN's going to throw it all out. Only problem is they've given up the B site where only Tizian sits. He needs only one kill and he's done it. Anything more is just icing on the cake. And Tizian, he is not a Froster himself. tabseN's going to be able to get the trade right back through the connector. And Ustillo is the last man up. But no, Big have done it. 15 rounds off the back of an eco. What a shame for Renegades. You do hate to see it. And even though they've got money to fall back on, they're going to be kicking themselves. That was their chance to pull back this game. But instead, the aggression up in A main from Big with the combination of Smooya and Godby has made this round a reality. And 15 here for the CT side, at least a guaranteed overtime, even if Renegades were to pull a still phenomenal comeback. But now with weaponry in the hands of the CTs after winning an eco, a double AWP intact, money is no longer a problem because Renegades are buying till this game is over. And it may be here. But let's see.
I mean, what a devastating way to give up map point here on map number 2 as well. It seems so likely we'd be going through to Inferno, unless Renegades can win the next 6 in a row to claw this back to OT. I mean, with how good Big have looked, that just doesn't seem likely, especially. Now we do have that double AWP setup coming out. tabseN over here towards B with his, doesn't spot anything just yet. Renegades setting up for A, but because of tabseN's positioning, there's been a 4th man rotated round over here to try and assist. This boost from JKS is nice, but won't net him anything as no one's playing up on top of the trains. So they're forced to resort to what looks like will probably just be a set piece over on the side of Renegades.
Smooya desperately trying to find this pick. Did kill Nifty in the previous round with a CZ, but this time he looks to take that up duel once again. Players tagged down by the nades, and Smooya going to cycle a smoke. That will again hold this push back for another 15 seconds, and Renegades, who looked like they wanted to group on this A site now, again going for the boost. Trying to find Smooya on top of that train, but he's dropped off down Ivy. And they're going to look to try and force a frag down there, because Ustillo's in position once again, this time with support from Nifty, so the double setup here for Big will, for Renegades will work out. As the Renegades, they look to push this A bomb site. A very fast approach here, but they've got to be 30 seconds left up. Smooya's posted on this Ivy, and he needs to find these kills here because he's already lost his teammate in the process.
He's fully flashed, though. It's a good flashbang thrown in from Nifty. Next, trying to do what he can, only manages one, so tabseN's left in a 1v4. That was a great display from Renegades, walking into a 4-man stack site and only losing JKS in the process.
And all kills coming in within 3 seconds, pretty much. Apart from that pick to Godby, in that 4v5, Renegades get, you know, every single kill within a couple of seconds. So really nice team play, good cohesion, and a good round on this T side. Again, keeping this game onwards. Every time it seems like Big may be able to close it out, Renegades show more and more life. They will not go down without a fight here on the second map. But they are still behind 5 rounds, Harry. Even with Big put to eco here, they will not be put to bed for a while.
Yeah, I mean, even then, right, I do agree that Big might just opt to play things safe, but they can actually kind of justify going for a buy almost. tabseN can drop a rifle over, Next can buy one. Godby could have himself a Caesar Nami. Smooya can grab a FAMAS or something along those lines. So, you know, you would have enough rifles in play to make this work. You'd have 4.
And Big want to think about it. The only danger is we have 5 rounds, right? So they have to like look to the future. Big now have to do the maths in their head and go, okay, if we lose every round here, what situation are we going to be in? Is this buy here worth it in the long run if we're losing, say, the next 3 rounds, you know? Or will it come back to haunt us more than it can help? Are they confident enough that they can win this round? We could give Tizian a deagle. He's been good with that before. CZ potentially. It seems like for now they are just going to cycle some pistols and go for the long haul, the future buy. The problem is they just got reset, right? So they've not got any loss bonus. So ecoing here, I mean, this is a double eco in theory, because unless they start to grab guns and save them, you know, they're going to have Godby and Tizian are both going to have about, you know, 3,300 next round without kill bonus, which is not enough for a buy. So Big are taking a couple of very reserved rounds here to allow Renegades to start to build up a little more confidence, and I think that could be not a mistake, but a very dangerous position to be in, because it might be even 12, 15 before Big next have rifles.
And again, we saw them work magic with just these pistols 1 rifle rounds ago. Taps on the AWP is not an easy man to contend with either. Saying that already losing Tizian early on, going to make things very, very tricky here for the Big side to get much done with these.
I'd like to note as well, I just made a mathematical error. This is 3rd round loss bonus, right? After this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it isn't.
Can we see the scoreboard?
No, it's 2nd. I'm pretty confident.
Okay, if it is, then I didn't make an error. We'll see.
Well, Godby alone over here on a CZ in hand. Can the biggest brain in Germany get much done? Does manage the first. More players coming his way, and actually runs the risk of going down and finding himself another, but thankfully Jacob's there to pick up the pieces. Smooya's going to manage one more. Now comes Tabson, 2-on-2, and this cannot be how Renegades give this map up. Next goes barreling into the bomb site, trying to deny that bomb going down. Can't quite get there in time, and Jacob, as a result, now finds that frag on a Tabson. Next in the 1v2 will be dispatched of by Jacob, just decapitated down there. Renegades managed to find an 11th.
Yeah, so that was the 2nd round there for Big. So, no, they can't buy. I mean, they shouldn't. If they buy here, this would make no sense. They should have bought in the previous round instead, because you can see we have players on 3k here, and you want that AWP on Smooya especially. Or anyone here at this point. Maybe even the double AWP. Tabson has extra cash to spare as well. That could certainly be something that Big would like to pull in. The problem is it's a very, very big investment. But at this point, 15 to 11, they've got to make a risk. They've got to do something here, because Renegades are making this game a reality. An 11-4 half for Big. The Renegades have now made 15-11.
Well, nifty. Waiting for this aggression. Timing. Just looks away. Renegades setting up for the A play. 2 players going to be there in the back line very, very quickly, though. That's something to keep an eye on. They might instead opt to go to B, but wherever they go, you have to be wary of Smooya and Tabson, both aggressive down the Ivy position. One minute left on that clock, and Godby still down here in Pop Dog. A lot of players in very good spots, and you can see this aggression from Godby and Smooya netting to a lot of information gain. Going to be there's 4 players almost inside of this B bomb site, and Azza, he's been made aware of this. He's cleared out A, but it's still Smooya on this flank round from Ivy to keep an eye on. Britain looking to try and get the job done here for the Germans as we head on in through the back. Smooya goes down. He still is able to find us. The flank does not amount to much. Next, Tizian and Tabson. 3v5. Who kills who? Flick it around.
Oh, what?
Tizian.
That's ridiculous.
Probably going to make Jacob a little bit salty about that there.
And I don't even say that's a bad call for Big, right? Because they push Smooya down Ivy, they got all the information, they go, Ivy's clear, and as a result, Big heavy rotate to B. And the reason because of that is that Renegades, every time they've gone for this A play, they've split Ivy. They've always had you still on Ivy, constantly. Oh, what? Tabson, the CZ King, 3 kills on the exit. But as I was saying, you know, Big, that's a fair assumption to rotate B there, and it's just unfortunate because Renegades only pushed in through Pop Dog and Main. So they condensed their three-way split to a 2-way split. And as a result, Big are going to make the wrong prediction. And now, crunch time, Harry. The double AWP is here. Tabson has joined Smooya in the ranks. Nifty still has his, of course, because money isn't an object for Renegades. This is where it all matters. The next buy that we've been waiting for these last couple of ecos.
And the crazy thing is, Renegades, if they win this round now, Big have to eco in the next and then buy at 14-5, meaning we will get one more buy to decide if this goes to overtime or not. But this is still such an important round now for Renegades. And Smooya, just over the top. Nifty's big brain gives it all away as it extends over the top of the smoke. Taps and even nades down Azza. This is a great start for Big, as now they've forced the hands of Renegades to try and make something happen. 3 versus 5. Smooya going to delete another. JKS tries as best he can to close that man advantage down, but Smooya still putting up numbers. Misses that shot there. Onto JKS. The bomb going to go down as JKS plants it. Jacob holding close. Tabson waits, and he's ever so patient is Tabson. There's the peek from Jacob, spotted out, and JKS in a 1v4. It's just not happening. Big will be closing out this second map. They're going to be sending us to a third. They do not want to roll over and let Renegades send them home. They want every chance they can to play in front of this stage, in front of that home crowd.
And fantastic round from Smooya as well. He will be the one to find 2 kills in that, alongside Tabs, and the double orbs having a great effect. And of course, we already talked about how many duels Nifty has won versus Smooya with that AWP and how he's been struggling in that sense. So for Smooya to not only pick Nifty, but then take a second kill into the B site with a well-timed rotation, that's all they needed. Big finally do take that victory, and a nice comeback from Renegades. They're going to at least be feeling confident moving into that third map. But it is a third map, Harry, after Renegades lose their map pick, so anyone's game here.
Yeah, I think Renegade's a very good Inferno team, but I haven't seen all that much from Big on Inferno. You know, not since Smooya joined as well. It's going to be an interesting dynamic to switch things up. I think it's a very, you know, tactically diverse map. I think that's something that someone like God B is just going to absolutely adore.
Yeah.
So this is interesting now. We're going to go the full 3 maps, but, you know, kind of addressing that one a little bit more. What impressed you on either side? You know, talk about the things you liked that you saw from Big that maybe were absent in Dust 2. You know, what from Renegades was kind of missing early on?
Well, at least in that second half, it was nice to see Nifty find his form again. It was a similar story to the CT side of Dust 2, where it's like he was slow for the first bit, but then he really pulled it back. I'd say in the T side, a lot of opening kills, a lot of nice rounds won. For the side of Big, I think it's just, again, really good utility. We already talked about that. So many nades put them in positions where, you know, we had half the Renegades players with 50 HP, and we've already seen how good God B is at coming up with these new nades, like Astralis tier nades sometimes. There's this one on Overpass that I saw from Big the other day in some online match, I think it was, where it's on Overpass on B site. On the T side, outside of B Monster, they throw them over short, you know, where you sometimes throw that molly to stop a CT short rush, and they go and they kill anyone jump spotting or boosting up with an AWP over the plywood bit on B short. So yeah, there's a lot of cool nades that the Big do show, and some great utility usage in that previous map.
Yeah, well, now the question remains, heading into map number 3, who wins this? The Germans, efficient, cold, calculating as ever, almost like machines. The Iron Men. I could use an Iron Man, but or the boys. We'll find out. Map number 3 coming up after the break.
ESL One Cologne.
Incendiary out. I seriously get that dude in